Karen Hardy. Chapter 1 was about actions. Chapter 2 is about choices. And we are on chapter 3 about habits. And reading this is going to help you be unbothered, unshaken, unstoppable. So yes. I'm excited to be with you today. Welcome into my world of reading and happiness and love and peace and gratefulness and thankfulness. Okay, let's get started. We are on page 55. 55. Okay. A wise teacher was taking a stroll through the forest with a young pupil and stopped before a tiny tree. Make sure you like and subscribe. Pull up that sapling, the teacher instructed his pupil, pointing to a sprout just coming up from the earth. The youngster pulled it up easily with his fingers. Now pull up that one, said the teacher, indicating a more established sapling that had grown to about knee-high to the boy. With little effort, the lad yanked and the tree came up, roots and all. And now this one, said the teacher, nodding towards a more well-developed evergreen that was as tall as the young pupil. With great effort, throwing all his weight and strength into the task, using sticks and stone, he found to pry up the stubborn roots. The boy finally got the tree loose. Now, the wise one said, I'd like you to pull this one up. The young boy followed the teacher's gaze, which fell upon a mighty oak so tall the boy could scarcely see the top. Knowing the great struggle he just had, pulling up the much smaller tree, he simply told his teacher, I'm sorry, but I can't. My son, you have just demonstrated the power that habits will have over your life, the teacher exclaimed. The older they are, the bigger they get, the deeper the roots grow, and the harder they are to uproot. Some get so big with roots so deep, you might hesitate to even try. And you'll be like that little boy saying, I'm sorry, I can't change that habit. You ever met people like that? Seen people like that? Are we creatures of habit? Let's keep reading. There was a great philosopher who wrote, we are what we repeatedly do. Merriam-Webster defines habits this way: an acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely involuntarily. There's a story about a man riding a horse, galloping quickly. It appears that he's going somewhere very important. A man standing along the roadside shouts, where are you going? The rider replies, I don't know. Ask the horse. This is the story of most people's lives. They're riding the horse of their habits with no idea where they're headed. It's time to take control of the reins and move your life in the direction of where you really want to go. If you've been living on autopilot and allowing your habits to run you, I want you to understand why. And I want you to let yourself off the hook. After all, you're in good company. Psychology studies reveal that 95% of everything we feel, 95% of everything we think, 95% of everything we do, and 95% of everything we achieve is a result of a learned habit. We're born with instincts, yes, of course, but no habits at all. We develop them over time. Beginning in childhood, we learned a series of conditioned responses that led us to react automatically, as in without thinking, to most situations. In your day-to-day life, living automatically has its definite positives. If you had to consciously think about every step of each ordinary task, making breakfast, driving the kids to school, getting to work, and so on, your life would grind to a halt. You probably brush your teeth twice a day on autopilot. If you do, you need to order my toothpaste. Go to shopwithdrj.com. Shopwithdrj.com. Back to the book. Okay, there's no big psychological debate. You just do it. You strap on your seatbelt the minute your butt hits the seat. No second thoughts. Our habits and routines allow us to use minimal conscious energy for everyday tasks. Would you agree? Put in the comments. Agree, agree, agree. Or do you disagree? Disagree, disagree, disagree. These habits help keep us sane and enable us to handle most situations reasonably well. Reasonably, right? And because we don't have to think about the mundane, we can focus our mental energy on more creative and enriching thoughts. Habits can be helpful as long as they're good habits, that is. If you eat healthy, you're likely built healthy habits, okay, around the food you buy and what you order at restaurants. If you're fit, it's probably because you work out regularly. If you're successful in a sales job, it's probably because your habits of mental preparation and positive self-talk enable you to stay optimistic in the face of rejection. I've met and worked with many great achievers, CEOs, superstars, and I can tell you that they all share one common trait. They all have good habits. That's not to say they don't have bad habits too. They do, but not as many. A daily routine built on good habits is the difference that separates the most successful among us from everyone else. You might want to write that down. A daily routine built on good habits is the difference that separates the most successful among us from everyone else. And doesn't that make sense? From what we've already discussed, you know, successful people aren't necessarily more intelligent or more talented than anyone else, but their habits take them in the direction of being more informed, more knowledgeable. Page 58, more competent, more skilled, and better prepared. My dad used Larry Bird as an example to teach me about habits when I was a kid. Larry Legend is known as one of the greatest professional basketball players, but he wasn't known for being the most athletically talented player. Nobody would have described Larry as graceful on the basketball court, yet despite his limited natural athletic ability, he led the Boston Celtics to 3 world championships and remains one of the best players of all times. So how did he do it? It was Larry's habits. His relentless dedication to practice and to improve his game. Bird was one of the most consistent free throw shooters in the history of the NBA. Growing up, his habit was to practice 500 free throw shots every morning before school. With that kind of discipline, Larry made the most of his God-given talents and kicked the butts of some of the most gifted players on the court. Like Larry Bird, you can condition your automatic and unconscious response to be those of a developed champion. This chapter isn't about choosing to make up for what you lack in innate ability with discipline, hard work, and good habits. It's about becoming a creator of champion habits. With enough practice and repetition, any behavior, good or bad, becomes automatic over time. That means that even though we develop most of our habits unconsciously by molding our parents, responding to environmental or cultural associations, or creating coping mechanisms, we can consciously decide to change them. It stands to reason that you're going to hit like and subscribe, right? It stands to reason you're going to hit like and subscribe. It stands to reason that since you learned every habit you have, you can also unlearn the ones that aren't serving you well. Ready? Here goes. Start by thinking your way out of the instant gratification trap. We understand that scarfing Pop-Tarts won't slenderize our waistline. We realize that logging 3 hours a night, watching Dancing with the Stars and NCIS leaves us with 3 fewer hours to read a good book or listen to a terrific audio. We get that merely purchasing great running shoes doesn't make us marathon ready. We can't just, buy the shoes and think we're going to be great, right? We're a rational species, at least. That's what we tell ourselves. So why are we so irrationally enslaved by so many bad habits? It's because our need for immediate gratification can turn us into the most reactive, non-thinking animals around. If you took a bite of a Big Mac and immediately fell to the ground, clutching your chest from a heart attack, you might not go back for that second bite. If your next puff of a cigarette instantly mutated your face into that of a weathered 85-year-old, chances are you'd pass on that too. If you failed to make the 10th call today and were immediately fired and bankrupt, suddenly picking up the phone would be a no-brainer. And if that first forkful of cake instantly put 50 pounds on your frame, saying no thank you to dessert would be the true piece of cake. The problem is that the payoff or instant gratification derived from bad habits often far outweigh what's going on in your rational mind concerning long-term consequences. Indulging in our bad habits doesn't seem to have any negative effect at all in the moment. You don't have that heart attack from one bite. Your face doesn't shrivel up from just one smoke. You don't have that heart attack. Your face doesn't shrivel up. You're not standing in the unemployment line. Maybe you are. Maybe you know somebody who is. But that doesn't mean you haven't activated the compound effect. So it's time to wake up. Type wake up. Wake up on a whole nother level, right? And realize that the habits you indulge in could be compounding your life into repetitive disaster. The slightest adjustment to your daily routine can dramatically alter the outcome in your life. Again, not talking about quantum leaps of change or complete overall overhaul of your personality, character, and life. Super small, seemingly inconsequential adjustments can and will revolutionize everything. The best illustration I can give you to emphasize the power of small adjustments is that of a plane traveling from LA to New York City. If the nose of the plane is pointed 1% off course, almost an invisible adjustment when the plane's sitting on the tarmac in LA, it will ultimately end up about 150 miles off course, arriving either in upstate Albany or in Dover, Delaware. Such is the case for your habits. A single poor habit, which doesn't look like much in the moment, can ultimately leave you miles off course from the direction of your goals and the life you desire. Most people drift through life without devoting much conscious energy to figuring out specifically what they want and what they need to do to take themselves there. I want to show you how to ignite your passion and help you aim your unstoppable creative power in the direction of your heart's dreams and desires. Uprooting bad habits that have grown into mighty oaks is going to be difficult. To see the process through will require something greater than even the most relentless determination. Willpower alone won't cut it, which is probably why you haven't got results in some areas of your life that you would like to, right? So you got to find your mojo, your why power. Assuming willpower is what you need to change your habits is akin to trying to keep a hungry grizzly bear out of your picnic basket by covering it with a napkin. To fight the bear of your bad habits, you need something stronger. Agree? When you're having trouble doing the hard work of achieving your goals, it's common to believe you simply lack willpower. I disagree. It's not enough to choose to be successful. It's just not enough. What's going to keep you consistent with the new positive choices you need to make? What's going to stop you from falling back into your mindless bad habits? What's going to be different this time versus the time you tried and failed before? As soon as you get the slightest bit uncomfortable, you're going to be tempted to slide back into your old comfortable routine. You've tried willpower before and it failed you. You set resolutions and you've let them go. You thought you were going to lose all that weight last time. Let's just stop the insanity, okay? And do something different so you can get different and better results. Forget about willpower this time. It's time for why power. Your choices are only meaningful when you connect them to your desires and dreams. The wisest and most motivating choices are the ones aligned with that which you identify as your purpose, your core self, your highest values. You've got to want something and know why you want it. And you'll end up, or if you don't do that, you'll end up giving up too easily. So what is your why? What is your why? You got to have a reason. If you want to make significant improvements in your life and to make you want to make the necessary changes, your why must be something that is fantastically motivating to you. You've got to want to get up and go, 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 go for years. So what is it that moves you the most? Identifying your why is crucial. What motivates you is the ignition and the fire to your passion, the source for your enthusiasm, and the fuel of your persistence. Ooh, I like that. Hey, get me my pen and paper. I didn't write that one down. Okay. So I'm going to put the fire of your passion, the source for your enthusiasm, and the fuel of your persistence. This is so important that I made it the focus of another book called Living Your Best Year Ever, a proven system for achieving big goals. You must know your why. All right. So we got 2 more pages. Hang with me, hang with me, hang with me. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share this with somebody you know who could benefit. Okay, hang with me. Why everything's possible. The power of your why is what gets you to stick through the grueling, mundane, and laborious. All of the hows will be meaningless until your whys are powerful enough. Until you've set your desired motivation in place, you'll abandon any new path you seek to better your life. If your why power, your desire isn't great enough, if the fortitude of your commitment isn't powerful enough, you'll end up like every other person who makes a New Year's resolution and gives up too quickly and reverts to sleepwalking through poor choices. Let me give you an analogy to help bring it home. If I were to put a 10-inch wide, 30-foot long plank on the ground and say, if you walk the length of the plank, I'll give you $20. Would you do it? It's an easy $20. But what if I took the same plank, made a rooftop bridge between 2 100-story buildings That same $20 for walking the 30-foot plank no longer looks desirable or even possible, does it? You'd look at me and say, not on your life, okay? However, if your child was on the opposite building and that building was on fire, would you walk the length of the plank to save him or her? Without question and immediately, you do it, $20 or not. So, is your why power great enough? Why is it that the first time I asked you to cross that sky-high plank, you say no way? Yet the second time, you wouldn't hesitate. The risk and the dangers are the same. What changed? Your why changed. Your reason for wanting to do it. You see, when the reason is big enough, you'll be willing to perform almost anyhow, almost. To truly ignite your creative potential and inner drive, you have to look beyond the motivation of monetary and material goals. It's not that those motivations are bad. In fact, they're great. I'm a connoisseur of nice things, but material stuff can't really recruit your heart. It can't recruit your soul and gut into the fight. That passion has to come from a deeper place. And even if you acquire the shiny objects, you won't capture the real prize, happiness and fulfillment. In my interview with peak performance expert Tony Robinson of Success in 2009, he said, I've seen business moguls achieve their ultimate goals, but still live in frustration, still live in worry, and still live in fear. What's preventing these successful people from being happy? The answer is they have focused only on achievement and not fulfillment. Extraordinary accomplishment does not guarantee extraordinary joy, extraordinary happiness, extraordinary love, and a sense of meaning. These two skill sets feed off each other and make me believe that success without fulfillment is failure. Well said. That's why it's not enough to choose to be successful. You have to dig deeper than that to find your core motivation, to activate your superpower, your why power. All right, so we're going to stop on page 65, and then we will pick back up, continuing through chapter 3 on habits. So this chapter, I'm trying to see how long it is. We'll probably have to break it up into 3 sections. So we just did the first of 3. So I'm excited because there's some really, really, really good things coming. So make sure you like and subscribe. We left off on page 65. Until next time, take care. You all have an amazing day, okay?